So I was just gonna sit down and edit some photos in Lightroom. This is from my trip I took to Shanghai in 2019, and I was gonna do this anyways. I figured, why the heck not stream it? Could be some people out there who are just looking to do something super chill. So anyway, this is my first time doing this. Third time streaming ever. And my first time streaming photo editing. So we will see how this goes. I was just going to play some music, and apparently it's not legal to stream Spotify. So I'm going to be listening to that myself, and you guys should definitely listen to whatever you feel like listening to. Because that's cool. There's not going to be a lot happening here. So basically what I did was I already went through all of my Shanghai photos and I deleted them, the ones that I didn't like. And now I'm ready to start editing. And they're like 400 or no, like I think 200 that I'm going to try editing. This is just for me. It's not really for any specific purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and just get to it, I guess. I already did a couple of them, and whenever possible, hey, there's my smiling mug. I'm just gonna apply like a pre-done filter because these photos are literally just for myself, and I'm pretty much the only one who looks at them. So every now and then I'll have like a parent who does, but just a little backstory, I guess. I went to Shanghai because I go volunteering in the summer in China. I teach English, so I thought I would. So I was invited to go back for another year and do some volunteering, and then I do a little sightseeing around that. So anyway, I'm probably not going to talk through this whole thing because I am pretty sure it is mostly just going to be me. Maybe it won't be, but I guess if anyone hops on chat, then I'm happy to answer questions. I finally figured out how to open my iPad and put chat over there, so and now I'm capable of doing that. And as I'm listening to music, I will go ahead and mute myself if I feel the desire to start singing along, so apologize if I'm just sitting here silently lip syncing. But maybe one day Twitch and Spotify will figure out a system that works, eh? Where copyrights can all be happy for everyone. Okay. So where am I? I always like have to get into this flow of editing, especially when I'm just like have 200 photos or so much to just kind of focus on. I am not a professional in any capacity. I just started photo editing like 10 years ago, and I used to use Picasa, which was a free Google product. So usually what I like to do is just stare at the picture and try to figure out like what the heck is the purpose, like what's the focus of the photo. Obviously in this case this is just literally something from a museum, so not all that exciting. And I'll usually make sure the exposure looks decent, maybe pop up some contrast, and then just mess around with the highlights and the shadows and all that. And sometimes a thing will speak to me and sometimes it just won't. I feel like this needs more cropping. Like we're not focused on... I don't know if these little hats should be in the picture or not. Guess that's a little better. I feel like the color balance isn't that great. I think like a good photo editor would probably go and like focus on the color balance a lot. Like choose the right white balance. But I'm not... I don't know. To me, that's just like one of the most boring things to do. Unless it's like really appalling. I don't tend to do that. Ugh, that's horrible. So we're gonna just play around with this little and see if anything speaks to us. I thought this was kind of a cool, I didn't keep all of the pictures I took from these museums. I have sort of, ooh, the dehazing really did a lot for me there. Ooh, I'm liking that. It's really making that border pop. I don't tend to play with the tone curve very much. It's basically just the same thing as playing around with these. And I have mixed feelings about messing around with vibrancy. I like to try to keep it kind of realistic. But I'm not opposed to popping up a little vibrancy here and there, or saturation. I'm not noticing much of a difference. What's really fun is when you go down here and you can see like the two things side by side, like art before and after. You could already see like this all looks dusty and disgusting, and this is so much more vibrant. Although it's pretty dark over here. Like normally I don't know. This is not the kind of photo it's not like a picture of me where I'm gonna want to be using it in a public facing space, but like you can totally go over to this little adjustment brush here and start doing like individual edits to kind of like get rid of some of the shadow to make it a little more balanced. So I like to show the mask overlay, and that'll show you where all your edits are happening, and we could kind of bump up the exposure a tiny bit if we wanted to make like this area. So you start by just making it red so you can see where everything is, but like I'm just looking at the areas that need a little brightening, I guess, over here, maybe. I don't know. I want this to all be kind of flat and neutral looking. It looks like it's a little dark there. So then I can hide that, and I can kind of bump up the exposure a little bit and see if that, like if you do it too much, like here you can start seeing there's too much brightness. It looks really awkward. But if you bump it up just a hair, you can kind of get rid of that distraction of those shadows, and you can keep doing that if you want to. Now, fun story, I once taught a photojournalism class because I teach English to non-native speakers, or I did. And so during a summer, I did a photojournalism class. It was just supposed to be a fun class to offer to students. Let's say done on that. Let's get another thing. So I offered this class, and we had a few students sign up. Only one actually showed up. And of course, with my luck, it was someone who was actually a photojournalist from Spain. So that was my one student, was a photojournalist from Spain. And luckily, the real point of the class was, to learn English and practice our English, and at least I can speak English. So I was able to offer some help, but basically it just was me and this guy, the photojournalist from Spain, who would go to we'd go to the cafe at the college campus and like just get coffee and talk about photography. And like we went and took a trip to Sonoma, which is where he was actually living. He was commuting like an hour to come to this class, and so we went over there, and we took photos together, and then he actually showed me how to improve my photo editing in Lightroom, which was really cool. And he was the one who said, think about what the focus is, what the purpose is. So here, obviously, the focus is this thing. And I forgot most of what he told me, so I feel bad even bringing his name into this. But like, we want to kind of make that focus, our subject, pop a little bit, and we can even make like the other stuff a little darker if we want to. So just making that slightly brighter or having slightly more contrast just on that object that we've highlighted there is like something we can kind of play around with. And then if you really want to get crazy, like I guess I could do these little hats too if I wanted to make them pop a little bit. I think I got those guys. Yeah, you could kind of brighten them too if you wanted. Or they're in a different area of the space, so they've got more shadow and they're also darker. So I feel like they almost need their own separate little editing session for them if I really wanted to go crazy, which I don't, but I could. So now we've really got this popping a little bit, and then like I'd click done to finish with that little section. And then if I wanted to do it, like go really wild, which is what I do a lot of times when I am, see where we're, now I'm just highlighting everything that isn't a focus, and you can like make it blurry. We're gonna just highlight everything around there. And then this works really well if you've got like a person and they're outside and you don't want people to get distracted by like trees and leaves and stuff. You can use these little tricks. I'm not sure how well this is going to work on a white background, but hey, we're learning together. Maybe I could have tagged this educational, except, oops, I think I got some of my hat there. We want the hat. I don't think I'll be able to keep up being this educational for the whole time. And I also kind of feel weird even calling this educational, since I am not an expert. Alright, so now we've got that background all. So if I really wanted to make it pop, I could actually do kind of the opposite of what I did earlier, and I could decrease the exposure of the background, and I can kind of make it a little bit less clear. Like a little bump down that clarity a little, and maybe even like decrease texture and stuff. So basically you're like not as focused on the background and you're more focused on the foreground there. But I actually kind of liked everything just being bright. It really just depends on your style. Also, like if you're outside or something, you can desaturate. Just kind of like make it a little bit less compelling because it's not as colorful and pretty. Okay. I don't know if I want to even keep all that. Let's make the exposure back to normal. I'm just going to double click and bring that back. So anyway, yeah. I still am not like in love with this. I want to see if I can throw some kind of a filter over it. Maybe something bright. I just really like this being bright. Something about it being white is really pretty to me. Oh, hi. Sorry, Colin Flower. I just saw you over there. And Be Wicked. Hey, girl. I'm drinking Earl Grey. Just Numi blend. They're loose leaf. Sorry, I'm new to this whole thing, so I didn't notice my chat over there. Yeah. Numi Earl Grey from this great little mug here. It's like I had a Christmas tree mug, and then I thought maybe snowmen were a little more acceptable for this time of year. Okay, so yeah, you guys are all welcome. You guys, all one of you, are welcome to ask me questions or just chat over there. And as that happens more, I'll get more used to looking over there. I kind of like that soft mist, but I want it to be brighter. I honestly think I just like this bright option. I'm gonna go with that. And then we can see our before and after, and it's just like night and day. It might be a little bit bright down there. I might have gotten a little crazy, but I think that's pretty good. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's good enough for me, since I'm literally the only one who's going to be seeing this. So, sorry, these first pictures are all like from a museum. So if you've joined in right now, you've got museum pictures, but I'm not going to spend that long on each of them. I just liked some of these outfits. I think these were from the Shanghai. It might have literally just been called the Shanghai Museum. It was like a huge museum, and I really liked this part with all of these different outfits from different provinces in China, the traditional clothing, because of course this is all going away as the world becomes increasingly westernized. We're losing a lot of the individual cultures, which is really sad. A lot of the art and traditions. So anyway, I'm gonna see, this is another one where I feel like the white balance it's so yellow. Ugh, but white balance, one of my least favorite things. Ooh, oh, but look how much better that made it look. There's a reason people do this stuff. Okay, man, those leggings are so cool. I love those. Sorry, I just paused there. It made me have these giant questions about cultural appropriations, like a huge question in my mind, because I love traveling. I lived in Japan for 3 years. I love traveling. Obviously, when you live somewhere, you start really, well, not always, but like often you really start loving living there and start doing things that other people are doing there. You wear the same kind of style of clothes. And of course, in Japan, it's basically a Western style, but maybe like the fashion, the way it's worn is a little bit different. So I start wondering those kind of slippery slope arguments. What's the difference between wearing like a style or a vibe, like wearing jeans in the way that another group wears it, or you know, you would see people wearing kimono, or how about just wearing like a Western style thing but with a kimono style sleeve, and like at what point does it shift from admiring and just wanting to be a part, like thinking something's cool, really wanting to do it yourself? When does it switch over to cultural appropriation? And anyway, that's what I thought is the moment I saw these leggings. I was like, what's the line there? We're just brightening this guy up a little bit. I think it's going to be more or less like that other one where the image is just like a little bit not bright enough for me. I could bump up the exposure of the whole thing, which maybe I should have started by doing, but no, I feel like up here it's already bright enough. I'm going to focus just on the outfit. We're going to brighten this guy a little bit. I just downloaded that goose game where you get to be a honking goose, and I'm really excited to play that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to actually stream some kind of a game that I'm playing. Do I want this face to be brighter? Not really. It's not really my focus. Okay. Yeah, I tried streaming Overwatch yesterday. My internet cannot handle that, even remotely. It was so laggy. I was rubber banding so much, so that's out. Hence why I was like, well, I guess I can photo edit. That's not intensive with the internet, so just intensive on my computer. But luckily I built it thinking about photo editing and video editing, actually. I hope I might try that a little later too, and that'll be really fun for you guys to watch as I flounder through that horrible mess. Do I want more contrast on this? What I really want is to pop this like blue, and there's some really pretty colors in here. Yeah, I just feel like we're missing some of our color here. Like, I do want our shadows to be darker, but I also feel like they both need to be darker and brighter. Maybe I just want them sharper. Clarity? Maybe clarity. Our whites. Oh, hi, friend. Welcome to my photo editing. You also photo edit. I don't know how long it took for me to notice that you were there. I really need to put this iPad more in my peripheral vision. But welcome as I talk to myself. You're welcome to engage in questions and whatnot too. But mostly just doing my thing. Okay. I feel like that is, I don't know. This is not really speaking to me. We're gonna say done. Maybe I just want to improve the saturation there. Oh, you joined when I was discussing my clarity settings. Cool. Yeah, turns out I'm actually really good at just yammering to myself. Good thing I find myself interesting-ish, I guess. Sometimes you just gotta chat with yourself. Okay, yeah, I'm going against all the rules here. I just want to brighten this because it just made me so sad that it was so dark. Okay. We're gonna saturate a little bit, I think. I really want to just saturate like these leggings and this necklace. I'm dying to brighten just like a tiny bit. Ooh, how do I zoom in? I don't know if I can while I'm in this mode right here. I think I might have to finish and then let's see what happens if I saturate. Ooh, our blue is becoming pretty. That's what's happening. This is good. Okay, let's just choose this whole dress. Ooh, oh wait, sorry. I thought that was doing like some kind of horrible saturation situation, but it was not. We're just We're just making everything red so we can see where we've selected. Gonna make this guy a little bigger so that we don't get these weird lines of saturation. Okay. Okay. I think we've got like a thing now. I'm just gonna go rogue and just try to get that earring. Okay. I think we've got a thing now. Okay, let's hide that. Now we can saturate. We've got our saturation up. You have to be really careful with red. It gets so overblown. But I think we can handle a little bit. And I don't know, I think you can't, oh, you can. You can do the hues. Okay, this is my favorite thing. Down here, doing the hue. So you can like change the shade. This is so cool. You can change the shade of like anything that's blue to like a different version of blue. Like if I want to make it more teal, you can do that. But I'm going to keep it true to the color that it was. But what I want to do is just saturate it. So I'm clicking over to the saturation tab a little bit, and we're just going to like all the blue. You can see there's not very much blue in this, so it's great. It's going to be perfect. You can just make it a little bit more blue, and that'll affect down in the leggings too. And you can do that with like the yellows and stuff. Normally if there's like an actual human, you have to be kind of careful because your face obviously has like a lot of yellow or red in that. And you can also affect the luminance, like how bright it is. So if you want to make that look brighter, or you want to take away some of that luminance, like I want to do on this blue, and it can just look so deep and yummy. So I really like that. And we can do that with the red too, or maybe brighten it, whatever we feel like. I'm going to make it just slightly darker because I think the lighting it's in the museum was making it look a little bit brighter than it really is. You're seeing a photo of a shirt, but a preview of a mannequin? What does that mean? So you're seeing in like the left-hand corner, you're seeing a shirt. No, in the left-hand corner, you're seeing the mannequin, but in the center, you're seeing a shirt. Is that what I'm hearing from you? Adil EQ? Could be that the video feed is wonky. This will be very interesting to review what the heck's going on. I wonder if I just share my entire screen, if that would be better. I'm gonna pop over to my OBS real quick and check what it's showing me. Oh yeah, that's so interesting. I see what you're seeing there. Okay. For some reason, we are seeing just a shirt, which is not very exciting. And we've got our little mannequin up there in the top left-hand corner, which is way small. Okay, let's check. We're going to troubleshoot on the job. Let's see, it's showing Lightroom Classic. What if I click over to Lightroom, Photoshop, Develop? That didn't really seem to fix anything. I can change this to just be a full-on display window. But obviously it's showing... That's so funny because that was the shirt I was editing before. Let us edit. Plus, we're going to add a display capture. We're going to make it our full screen. Oh. Let's see. We're going to get some inception here for a second. Okay, we're going to capture that. Okay. Yay, inception. That's because I've got my OBS over this right now. Cuckoo. Okay, well at least you can actually see. I'm going to minimize my OBS. This is sort of a gap fill situation. This will work for now. Or at least you can see the thing I'm editing. That's helpful. Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. That's helpful. Let's see. Remove chromatic aberration. Why wouldn't you? Okay. Cool. So, yeah, now we're going to go ahead and put a filter over this because huzzah! Yeah. I sort of had to cheat. I didn't actually solve the problem. I just started sharing my entire screen instead of like actually doing it correctly. But you know, one step at a time, eh? All right, we're going to choose a filter for this, I think, to go on top of it. Maybe. Vivid is kind of nice. You know, you do all that work for your editing. Look at how we've improved it already. The biggest one was just changing the white balance. That was huge. But we do all our work, and then now we're going to go ahead and just like use some kind of filter over that now that it's tolerable. Ooh, this is where you're just going for like the vibe. What vibe do you want for this? I can get a little crazy with my filters, which is fine. It's my photo. I guess I kind of liked the high contrast. No. I really like that matte, but I get kind of obsessive with matte, and then is it good? This is where I take the longest, is trying to decide which filter, like which vibe is speaking to me. I kind of like the warm shadows too. Warm shadows is one option. Matte also looks good. Or I think maybe this warm shadows or cool matte. Ooh, it's funny because those are like the exact opposite. Warm matte, cool matte. Warm shadows, cool matte. That blue, it looks so good there though. And then I saw my original. I was like, that one looks good too. Warm shadow. Cool matte. Cool matte is looking pretty good, I think. Let's just go with the cool matte. Why not? Let's see. I think that's getting the spirit of the garment. Okay, moving on with our lives here. Oh, this was just... I love photos of just inside museums. Just people at museums. I don't know why. It makes me happy. And this is one where I don't think I need to meticulously go through. It's just a vibe. How I felt. Matte looks so good on everything. I'll just pick one. It's just something to make it slightly more polished. This was a cool museum. Vintage Instant. Ooh, warm contrast. I'm just going to flick through them again. Okay, this is before. High contrast I like. High contrast and detail I might like even. Nope, high contrast is my favorite. Vivid. Warm contrast versus high contrast. I think I like warm contrast better. I don't know, it just has to be the vibe that feels right. Red Lift Matte. So when we click on, let's undo that warm contrast real quick. Red Lift Matte, we've got some red up here on this dragon that's really being affected the most. versus warm contrast makes it a little more pink. It's funny, I didn't even look at that dragon, although obviously I think I was actually focused on that when I took the picture. But when I'm looking at this now, I tend to focus more in this area with my eyes. That's where I'm looking. Just this group of people. Had a guest stop in. People peopling and museums musuming, street photography. Yeah, it is. It is basically like street photography, isn't it? This one. I just like its vibes somehow. I think I'm just gonna go with this warm contrast. I don't know. It spoke to me earlier. We're gonna go with that. And we're just gonna move on to the next one, I think. Another outfit. We're gonna start by cropping. Don't you have work? I mean, I'm happy you're here, but just looking out for you. Okay. Let's see how that is. I don't know why I feel like he's this guy. Let's see. I think this was a kid's outfit. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I mean, I maybe was judging like a little bit, but more just checking. Just checking. I don't want my stream to negatively affect someone's life. This is just meant to be like a thing that's happening. Okay, we've learned from our last one, white balance matters. Also because other people do that. Okay. Man, I don't know what to do about this reflection. I'm sure that some photographer out there knows what to do about that reflection, but I don't. So I think it's just going to be there. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to be there. Okay. Here's the problem. Our actual object here is not very well lit. So we've got to go back to the old classic, highlight all the things, and we're going to make our outfit pop. The problem with talking while streaming is that I can't listen to music, which is what I usually do. I'm not really sure why I insisted on that guy's face getting brightened. It's not like there's anything to see there, but it's just a habit, I think, from highlighting real people. Okay. Ooh, it's already looking better. Exposure boost. Maybe that's too much of a boost. Okay. All this so that I can flick through it in like 2 seconds when I'm looking at photos later. And be like, oh yeah, that was an outfit I saw. I took pictures of like the plaques with the information about these outfits as well that I'll put up when I actually post my photos on my Flickr. But ooh, come back exposure. Come back. For now, I'm just editing the highlights. Maybe I should have included the photos I didn't flag as well. We're bumping up these highlights, but I'm not seeing anything getting affected. I guess there's not very many highlights here. Mostly just our whites and our shadows. And I don't want to hurt our shadows too much. Maybe I can brighten the shadows a little bit and then we'll darken our blacks. Whites bump up just slightly. And then when we do the black, it's going to make everything come together. Yes. And some texture. Oh, so good. That texture and the clarity. Oh no, actually the clarity did not help at all. And dehaze. Dehaze was like a magic button last time. Just a tiny bit of dehaze. That actually is helping a lot with those reflections we're getting from the mirror, or the glass at this museum, I think. That looks so good now. It almost looks too good. We're gonna mess that up a tiny bit. All right, and then we're like pretty saturated. I don't think we need to do any more saturation. I think that came from the texture maybe. Give us that saturation. Yeah. And there's no like color that I'm like dying to pump up here. And I remember when I had that class with the photojournalist, he basically chastised me because I didn't like do the removing of chromatic aberrations and enabling profile corrections. I don't even know which lens I had on this though. Normally it auto detects that, so maybe this was just done with my like, I usually carry like DSLR, like a big camera, and then I also have a point and shoot camera with me, which I mostly use for video, but sometimes for wide angle, because I'm usually have like a 50mm or something on my DSLR, and then of course I have my cell phone, so I usually have like 3 different versions of photos that I'm editing. Let's see, do we want to play with any of these colors? I mean, again, the blue could be pumped up just like a teensy bit. I don't think I want to mess with the hue of anything. And I almost feel like the red could have some of its luminance brought down. I feel like it's maybe like a crazy bit bright. Let's bring that down from some of my other tweaks I was doing. Okay, yeah, that's good enough, I think. Do we want to put any kind of a filter on you? Ooh, that looks so cool. But not very like true to the spirit of the outfit. Man, matte. I feel like I could throw the matte filter on everything and I would just be in love. Yeah, the photo, I'm seeing the adjustments added some details to the face. Yeah, that's true, they did. Let's look before and after. Yeah, it's because of all that brightness. I guess that sort of makes it look a little less crazy. I don't know. I like the side-by-side view there. Yeah, the photos do. It usually auto has the EXIF data there, but it usually auto detects, so I might go look at that later. I feel like I do want to do something with this as in terms of a filter. Not brightness. It's like a boy's outfit. We want to add some like darkness and intrigue, which is just what the matte would do. Oh, I really want to. Maybe I will. We're doing it. It's gonna go matte. Okay. Oh, I just really liked this design here. I don't think there's like a lot we need to do for this. We just want to... I was just inspired by these patterns. I could even do just like a freestyle crop on this, but let's just center it and... God, I really like want to shift the angle of this a little bit. It's like clearly not not quite right. Crop. Let's just get in a little closer. Maybe we don't need to get all the edges there. We can just sort of zoom in a bit. We'll get the idea. Oh yeah, that's way better. Remember, what is the point of the photo? The point is these patterns. Okay. Earl Grey hydration break. We got some, we ran out of our almond milk, so we got soy milk in there now. From powder. From a powdered soy milk is what we're working with here. I almost want to crop this just a tiny bit more because the edge of that is a little distracting, but I feel like I might lose some of my pattern. Let's see what we get here. Just a wee bit more. Okay, is this too much? That's the question. Is that too much? No, I don't think it was. I think we can go pretty cropped, and I think that looks okay. I think I just knew what we're missing, and that's the problem, but I think it probably is okay. And we could even adjust the angle a little bit, but sometimes that affects the clarity. Let's see. Let's just pop up the exposure a teeny bit. This is great because it's just black and white basically. We can play with our contrast. That's going to do tons for us. I want to see if we can get our white balance. I don't know if it's supposed to be perfectly white. I don't think it is actually. Pop up some highlights. Nope, not really many highlights here to mess around with. Our shadows can be brightened just slightly because our black is going to be what matters. Whites. And our blacks. I could really go kind of extreme with this. I think a filter is going to do wonder. Texture. We're just trying to make this crisp and clear, and obviously my photo was not super crisp and clear. Oh, I hear a cat in the background. Texture is helping, and oh, clarity. Thank you, clarity. Like, if this was going to be on a billboard, maybe we wouldn't want to pump up the clarity like that, but since it's going to literally just be on my Flickr, oh, the dehaze, so good. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to mess with the angle of this or not? I don't think we need to do much with vibrancy. Saturation maybe might give us a little more blue in this area. Do we want more blue? Let's, oh, I have a thought. Okay, hold the phone, people. We are going to maybe, we'll see how I feel about this. I'm thinking we might want to desaturate this part, like all this background, just to diminish some of the focus. Just a tiny bit. Keep thinking about getting like a, and by keep thinking about, I mean like for the past decade, I've been considering getting like a Wacom tablet or something, whatever the current versions are of those, whatever is cool and new now, so that I can control this, because right now I'm doing all of this with a mouse. But if you actually had like a pen tablet situation, it'd be a lot easier to target all of that. Not a big deal for something big and clunky like this, but like when you're doing faces, it's sort of a big deal. Okay, so we wanted to, maybe I even want to like decrease the exposure on that stuff. But what I'm thinking was actually desaturating just a tiny bit so that it's, or do I like that? I don't know. Do I like that yellowiness in contrast with the blue? Is there something pretty about that that I'm like not celebrating right now? What if we did the opposite and we like celebrated that a little bit more? Like, we're just playing around here, man. No, I really don't. I want it to be about those patterns. We're gonna desaturate that a little bit, just a hair. Pump the exposure down a little bit, and then we're gonna start celebrating this blue by we're gonna just choose all of this stuff. Let's get our overlay here, our mask overlay. I want to really celebrate this pattern. We've got it a lot clearer than it was, and there really are beautiful patterns. I need to look and see which province of China this is from. It reminds me of like a batik, I don't know how to pronounce that, but like that Indian style of fabric. This pretty indigo color. It also has some like Japanese reminiscent, so I wonder which part it is, because that's sort of both sides of China. Okay, get rid of that overlay. Okay, we're gonna bump up our, oh yeah, bump up the exposure. Pop that up. Do we need to brighten those shadows a tiny bit still? Pull up our whites just a hair. We're getting really to the edge of what's okay on these whites. And I want to darken our blacks just a smidge. I really want to brighten up this top half. I can tell how the lighting was hitting it originally. A little bit of saturation. I really want to just focus on the blues, which is all we'll get anyway, but we're going to pump up our blues just a tad. And I wonder what would happen if we did like luminance. Let's just see. Blues. Ooh, bringing down the luminance, you get more blue. Especially in these like little blue flowers down here. We'll just pull it down slightly. And then just for fun, I just want to see what the blues would look like if we shifted. Oof, awful. Ooh, but it's so pretty if you bring it just a hair towards the purple side. Okay, we're going to cheat just a tiny bit and make that a little bit on the purple side because I just think that's so pretty. And I think we're done with that. Do we need to adjust the angle at all? I don't think so. Man, look at what that looked like before. There was no focus at all. So much better. I almost was wondering if I should have cropped in even tighter to like make it just about these patterns. Let's see. Ooh, I kind of like that. I'm feeling that. It's kind of highlighting the center one a little bit more, and then the others are just sort of like a backdrop to it. I'm kind of liking that actually. Let's see if we've got a filter that would make it any better than what we have. That vivid is not bad, but I kind of like the brightness of what we already have. You know what I want to do? I just want to brighten this top half just a tiny bit. We're gonna select that and just pop up the exposure slightly. Okay. I mean, the before and the after are night and day. Man, editing is magic. Where did my angle thing go? Oh, remove our chromatic aberrations. We'll do that just to make my student happy. I just want to see what this would look like black and white. I'm not going to make it black and white, but because I think those shades are so pretty. But one of the joys of doing your own editing is you get to see what stuff would look like in another world. Like lifting those shadows, so pretty. Strong S-curve, oof, so good. Also flat. Whether you make it flat or a strong S-curve, it looks good. Actually, that flat looks really good. But it kills some of our blue. Oof. Okay, we're gonna leave it as it is. Okay. My only question was about angle. Let's just see. Did that make that better? Barely. But, ooh, that was way too much. But like, it might have made it slightly better. Something I should have done right at the beginning. Let's see. Okay, I think we're gonna go with that. I don't think that made it too blurry. Okay. Ooh, that went from like the most unremarkable photo to something I really like now, actually. This was taken, sorry, I'm just seeing your question. This was taken at a museum in Shanghai. I think it was literally called the Shanghai Museum. All of my data of where we are. Let's see. Let's go to our unfiltered. Filters off. Let's just see if I took a picture of the building before I went into it. Oh, no. I'm sorry, that's a hotel. Yeah, I'm gonna have to consult my data, but it will go on my Flickr, and I'll put the information in there when I post them. There's my mug. All right. See, this is the problem. I'm at 10 photos, and I've only edited like 4 of them, but you know, I'm ending up with something I like. Okay, this reminds me so much. I also lived in Ecuador for 5 months, and it really reminds me of like the tapestry style when I was in Ecuador. What is this about? That's the question you always ask. What is this about? I kind of like that this info thing is here. Okay, this one is gonna get some editing for sure. Okay, it's about this tapestry. You can't even read. It says brocade woven with a sparrow pattern. The Tuja people. And this was fun because I was on a trip. One of the girls I was working with was Tuja. So it was very fun seeing the different Tuja traditions. We went to a Tuja village too. I hesitate to call it a village. It was more of like a Tuja theme park where like the culture was kind of treated like a theme park attraction. So I had mixed feelings about that part of it. But seeing the traditions and stuff is really cool. You can't really read this down here, so I feel like this almost needs to just be cropped out. And then that information can be typed onto the final photo. If I can crop it out without... Maybe I can't. Well, maybe it's gonna stay then. Hey. Blurry up. I don't want to keep that though. I need to unlock this aspect ratio so we can just fit this properly and do what it is intended to do. Okay. Yeah, one of the pictures that I was editing earlier is this one, and it is a distribution of the nationalities in China. I thought this map was really cool. And so you can see the map of China, and like most of the population is in this, well, obviously in this area, but like mostly on this half. And you can see all these different legends of the different ethnic minorities in China. The Han being the largest group, of course. But Yeah, you can see where these different groups are distributed and which one is the Tuja. Let's see. It's not very clear on here. Where are you, Tuja? Oh, there's Tuja up there. It's sort of, oh, this is going to be hard to tell. It's like there's also a like candy cane stripe, but that's a brighter red. This is a darker red candy cane. Those are only two ones that look similar. And there's a pink candy cane. It's the Meow. We also had a Meow girl in our group. Okay, so this dark red is this Tuja. And I was in Hunan, which is basically where I think the Tuja are here, more or less. Whoops. In 2015, I believe, I was in Hunan in Changsha, and that was when I had was in this area the most. I went on a trip to Zhangjiajie, which is where they filmed Avatar, in that area. That was pretty cool. Anyway, this is from 2019, the Shanghai part. I'm really bad at geography, so. Old Salem? What sounds like Old Salem? I'm staring at my iPad over here. Let's go back to our photo that we were working on here. Oh yeah, this is way better already. Our little Tuja pattern here. We're gonna pop up our exposure, teensy bit, contrast. Ooh, so beautiful. Highlights. Oh yeah. Shadows. Shadows. There aren't a lot of shadows here. I don't think there's any shadows. We could even possibly darken our shadows slightly. Whites can be brightened, sort of, and then blacks. We have, it just made it look like bright and shiny and new. So like, is that doing a disservice to the actual thing? Maybe, but maybe it's like bringing it back to life. I don't think this was a black back, or like a true white background. I think it was more cream. Temperature. Oh, I don't want to do tint. I want to do temperature. I feel like just slightly over, not like to a true white, but like just slightly altering the temperature is a little more true to reality. Oh, okay, you're saying Tuja sounds like Old Salem in terms of the cultural attraction space. Oh, it's an early colonial American vibe. Yeah, but the difference is that it's not historical. You know, Tuja people are real and current and a living group. And so to be like, oh, this living group of people is a tourist attraction, I don't know, it's complicated, right? Because we travel and go to other places to see different cultures. That's part of the reason we travel, is that excitement. And I guess instead of going to an actual Tuja village or a Tuja town or city that has a lot of Tuja population, you know, maybe it's better to take people to a single place where you can see lots of different cultural traditions and history and stuff too. But like seeing a historical, like a colonial American vibe feels a little bit different to me, but yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting. I have so many thoughts when I travel. Sometimes I'm just traveling and I feel sort of uncomfortable and I can't quite pinpoint why. I have to sit and think about it, and it doesn't always mean that I'm right. It's just a thought I'm having at the time. I have to think through. Oh, this is interesting with the dehaze. You can actually like make it look old basically by dehazing a bit. Or hazing, I suppose, if you go that direction. Dehazing. I'm not going to do anything with dehaze. I could decrease the vibrancy slightly, which I think I'm going to do. Because I feel like we got a little hot pink here, and it's not that hot pink. Or, I know what we can do. Down here in the saturation, we're going to pull down those magentas a tiny bit. Let's see if we pull it down a whole bunch, it becomes pretty pale. We're just not gonna have it be this hot pink. Pull it back a little bit. I think that is like I kind of want it to be a little more pink, but I think that's better. It's the thing about photography, like it's never really just like an accurate representation. Oh, you're asking to keep the riffraff tourists out of the true Tuja village? I mean, maybe. Or maybe it's just not very practical to travel to a Tuja village. I don't know. I guess you don't want your village to become a tourist destination. Or maybe you do, because then it brings more money to, your traditional arts and crafts that you could have people out there selling or whatever. I don't know. It's a very interesting question. Maybe it would be better to have people just go into these towns and do some sightseeing and and that also, I have to assume that China is experiencing the same phenomenon that Japan is, where the younger generations are moving out of those rural areas into the like more into the cities. And so like some of these rural areas are just losing so much population that they basically just completely collapse and die. I'm not saying that's happening with the Chuja villages, but I am just wondering if, you're bringing tourists out to those areas, that gives more interesting places for urbanites to go and visit. People who have more money, they can go and check those places out, and distributes that wealth a little more. I don't know. It's an interesting question. Remove our chromatic. All right. I feel like this guy is getting pretty good. That natural looks kind of nice, actually. I like how it's funny because the natural is just going to make it go almost back to how it was at the beginning. Sometimes this happens where I go through, I edit everything, and then I look back at the very original and I'm like, I kind of liked that better. I'm having one of those moments right now where I'm like, should I have done any of this? Let's just look at what this would look like in a different world. I kind of liked just this high contrast. I liked how it muted the greens a little bit. I'm gonna go with that. And now our before and after is quite subtle. But that's okay. Sometimes that just happens. We're a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's not better. It is what it is. That's what we're doing. We're going on to number 12. The idea of the rural exodus is definitely fascinating. Yeah. Oops, we haven't done anything with this. Ooh, these masks. I don't have the details on these. I think we're going to not do a lot with this. Just maybe some angle adjustments to straighten that out a tiny bit. A wee bit of a crop, perhaps. Uh-oh, don't mess with my angle. Don't mess with my angle. Oh, I see what's going on with our crop here. I really did a pretty severe angle adjustment there. Maybe I should simplify that, or make that a little... But it seemed right. You gotta trust your gut. We could make it a tiny bit smaller. I almost wanted to make it a little bigger, but maybe we just need to... Let's see. Yeah, this is not going to be like a stunning photo here. Ugh, but I just don't like having that at the edge of the crop there at all. Was that just how the original photo was? No, it's this angle was the problem. The angle. That was our issue. I lost my balance of the photo. Man, but the angle really does bother me. We've got to do something about this. You know, we may just have to suffer with an imperfect photo. Let's pull that down a little bit. Okay, or should I just crop out this mask entirely? That's another option. Because that one's kind of throwing off my balance, man. What if I just make it more vertical? Then we might not have an issue with the angle. We can change our aspect here. Let's make it more of an 8x10 situation. Ooh. Still not quite wide enough. Could do totally square. Oops, come back here, 1 by 1. Kind of like the verticality a little though. We're just gonna do it open, I think. What then? What then, they ask. Yeah. Oh, I really hope I'll be back in Shanghai again. I really liked it. I think I've been there twice? Wait, have I? No, I've only been there once. Nope, I have been there twice. You'd think I'd be able to remember these things. I've only been to China 5 times, so it's not like a crazy number to keep track of. And I say only, fully recognizing the privilege of having been able to do that 5 times. I feel very lucky that I was in a job and able to find a place to volunteer where I was able to fly over there. They covered my costs of staying there, my flights and everything. And then the Shanghai part was my own funding of the couple of days I was there. But they covered the cost of me getting to China, which is the most expensive part. Unfortunately, when you're there, it's not that expensive compared to many other places in the world. What am I looking for here? Angle. All I meant is that traveling to China, I should be able to remember how many times I've been to Shanghai, since I haven't been there that many times. Okay. I feel like this photo just got way better by cropping off that third mask. I feel a little bit bad about it, but it just wasn't working for me. Okay. We're gonna brighten this slightly. Ooh, are we? Yeah, just a tiny bit. Contrast, yes, yes, for sure. Oh, that is a lot of contrast, but I think it needs it because of these reflections are really distracting. And I kind of want to just tone down some of the brightness up here just a wee bit, maybe down to here. And we're gonna just like bring down the exposure. Can we? Or is that, oh, even just like the tiniest amount, you can see how obvious that is. Nope, we can just barely bump that down. Yeah, I think that cropping that other mask really made a difference. And it's you know, you just got to kill your babies. That's what, not actual babies. Don't kill actual babies, but sometimes you got to kill your art babies. You could buy a third mask. You know, someone can just go to Shanghai if this entices them to see these cool masks. There were so many. All right. We don't really have very many highlights here. Where are the highlights? I think it's up in that top left corner, which I don't want. So we would bring those down. Shadows. I always kind of mess around both directions. Do I bring them up? Do I bring them down? I think we want to bring those down a bit. Just a hair. The whites. Ooh, come back. That was a mistake. I never know which way to go. There's like theory, but I just go with what feels right. You just gotta kill your babies. Yeah. You know, anything taken out of context is gonna sound weird. Okay. I feel like I just want those whites popped up just a tiny bit and the blacks. bring it down, I think. It's so hard because they're on this black background. But he's got this black fuzzy hair back there. So I don't want to like lose that. I think we want it just brought down a tiny bit. Bump up our textures just a smidge. Clarity is gonna go up. Ooh, yeah, clarity. Oh, that's like too beautiful. It was too beautiful. We had to put somewhere between the two. Man. You know what we could do? Let's get crazy here. We're gonna just select our little mask overlay. Thanks for that pun, Lightroom. Cover these little guys here. We're gonna bump up our clarity, but selectively. Just on the parts where our eyeballs are going. We want to focus on these. And I could also do these guys down here, but they're not even really the focus. But let's just see what happens if we include them in the clarity boost. Now, this is actually a situation where I should probably blur this part a little bit so it's not as distracting, this reflection. But let's just start by bumping the clarity. And often you want to also increase the exposure, but I feel like the exposure, the lighting is already pretty good on those. We could bump it up just the merest hint. Just could bump up the contrast on. I like the contrast already though. We want to direct our eyeballs there just subtly. Ooh. Bring up our shadows a tiny bit more to get a little more texture in that hair. Our whites could be slightly, no, we're not going to mess with those. Get out of here, you. Okay, blacks are in their correct levels. And now our texture, we already had pretty much adjusted for these masks. The clarity was what we wanted. We were just going to bump up the clarity just a little bit on these guys. And possibly, I wonder what dehaze will do. Dehaze has been doing so much good stuff for us, I think because these are behind glass. I'm kind of liking that. I'm kind of okay with that. And then we can go down to our colors down here. Oh, remove our, we'll do that after for the whole thing. We've got our saturation for these beautiful like reds to play with. Hey, thanks on that. Oh my gosh, a bot asking if I want to become famous. Thank you. You're probably a real person too. This is not an easy gig. You've also increased my number of unique visitors for the Twitch stream for the day. Gotta get my moderators on that. I'll be recruiting my moderators soon. Once I can figure out how to stream the Lightroom correctly without having to use this kind of cheating method, I'll start looking to the next step, which is my mods. Yellow. Did I make that too orange? I don't think so. That's just really how orange it is. I didn't adjust that at all. There's not really any greens to play with. Hue. I mean, look at how you can mess with that. That's so fun. Make it all red. Oh, looks so cool. What if they had painted it like that? How cool would that have been? I'm going to just bump it slightly orangey, just for fun. Oops, get out of here, red hues. We're going to keep the red hues the same, though. Alright, I think we've played around with that enough. We're going to just blur the edges a bit. Just, let's get our mask overlay. Yeah. We just want to try to deal with that reflection a tiny bit. And again, I have no idea how photographers actually deal with that, but for a Flickr account that'll have 3 people looking at it, I think this will be plenty. We're just practicing our skills here, because one day these may be useful for something. Also, like for a good profile pic, this helps. Profile pics are probably the thing that I use these skills for the most. Oh no, I got the hair in there. I wasn't paying attention. It's just... I get nervous when I start making this too small because I feel like the edges are sharper and more noticeable. Like people will be able to tell that it's been edited. Oof. The cutout of this mask on the left for my profile pic. Yeah, maybe not for me, but I could see it as a vibe. It's a little too aggressive, you know, that's only certain days of the month that would apply to me. Let's see. We want to bump down the exposure. Oh yeah, look at what we're getting now. Now we are playing with fire. All right. Contrast? I'm not sure I want to touch the contrast. I know I should be decreasing the contrast. Let's decrease the clarity. Oh, but that becomes so obvious that I'm doing that. Oh, why? It's because of these beautiful sharp edges. I'm not going to be able to do what I want with this. It's just not going to happen. So instead, we'll just dehaze it a little bit. No, we're not even going to do that. We're going to just call it quits while we're ahead. Tuesdays? No, that's not the right days of the month. That was a good try, though. All right, I think we're like good. Now that I'm looking at this, gosh, I want to play with that angle again. I feel like it's off. I'm just going insane here. Like, did that make it? No, I don't like that. Okay, we're gonna just say goodbye to this. I can always come back and edit it a little bit later. I'm saying goodbye and then I'm already cropping it more. Like, no, it needs more. More work must be done. I think I'm making it worse. Get out of here. Okay, we're gonna stop there. We're gonna go to the next picture. It's another mask. I mean, that mask is pretty cool. Tibetan mask. All right, let's crop. Start with the crop. Focus. Choose our focus. I am got a heater on and I'm dying there. Okay. The sweater, the sweatshirt's doing work. Editing. Gotta get his little horns in there. Okay, let's see where we're at. This is not a great angle. Not a great angle at all. I think there are probably a lot of people in this museum and I was just trying to remember this mask because it is really cool. Look at that like filigree situation going on up there. Pretty cool. Okay. You never know what a picture's gonna look like when you're done with it. Contrast. I'm gonna drink some of my tepid water here real quick. Same leaf design is on the card. It is not. I'm checking the card. I will show it to the screen. Or will I? Well, is it? No, it's not. It's not at all. It's an actual leaf. That's our card that we're looking at here. And I would be able to make sure that this was better in view. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I'm on top of things. The leaf is a similar shape, but it's an actual leaf, and then it has like a... Is that Ganesha? I don't know. I hesitate to make guesses when it's related to religions and cultures that I'm not familiar with. Oh, my camera isn't running? Oh, well, there you go. Oh, I probably put it over. Thanks for that. You know, learning process. We're going to get some inception again here. Oh, it is. It's just hidden. How do I bring that guy up to the top? Burp. That's how we do it. We just learned how Lightroom or how OBS works. Problem solved. Oh, I wonder if that relates to why we couldn't see that other screen. You didn't need to see my smiling mug anyway. All right, focus on what matters. But I did solve the problem, so if you can't see it, you'll see it in about 10 seconds. Yay, looks like we've got success now. And now you can see me drinking my tepid water. That's an alternate name for my stream. Girl drinks tepid water. A fine glass of tepid water. All right. It will be even more fine when I get my Berkey filter. Look at these good, like, why am I even doing stuff? These filters can take care of my work for me. I don't know, maybe it's better if I can't be seen to decide. Oh, I can show the card thing now too. This was the card with the leaf design that the question was about. I'm very distractible. But as you can see, neither the leaf shape nor the design on the leaf is the same. In fact, this is not a design on a leaf at all. It's just literally a leaf over what appears to be a stamp. Okay, what are we doing here? Gonna bump up our texture a little bit. Oh man, we got some good eyebrow action there once we did that. Oh, so good. So good. Some clarity. We could all use a little more clarity. And some dehaze. I'm not feeling the dehaze on this one so much. Be the merest hint of the dehaze. Man, I'm gonna have to be going back to work next week. I'm not gonna be able to just stream my daily video editing or photo editing to the world. What a shame. I'll have to do that on the weekends or something. It's kind of nice having like virtual company while you're doing something like this. Or at least like the theory of virtual company. Let's see. Ooh. The saturation of this yellow, we're gonna bring out that gold a bit. Is that affecting the walls though? It is affecting the walls too. Which means we have to actually select. Let's get our mask overlay. We're gonna grab this area and this. Oh, our overlaps with the wall a tiny bit, so it might get this weird wall brightening thing going on too. We're gonna get these little skulls on the top of this mask. And let's get his little teeth. Oh, we could just select this whole thing, I guess. Why not? Doesn't overlap with the wall. His little smiling mug. Oh, I never even noticed he had this little bell earring going on over here. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and play with our saturation just a wee bit. And our hues down here. Bump up our yellow. Make that gold. More gold. Oh, but we're getting too much in those skulls. There. Just a little bit. And a little bit of the orange too, I think, so we can get those eyeballs. Yes. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Do we want more luminance or do we want less luminance on the yellow? I feel like maybe less, so that gold pops a tiny bit more. It's just the reflections from the light. Pulling down that luminance is reducing those highlights on the yellows. Yeah, sorry to refer to you as a hypothetical viewer. You are an actual viewer, not to diminish your existence at all. I'm still figuring this out. I'm staring at my stream manager over here. I don't know if that's my entire stream. I think it is. I've been doing this for an hour and a half. My gosh. That is insane. The first part was all just me floundering. That's actually most of what this part has been too. Let's remove our chromatic aberrations. Slow and steady. That's what we do here. I need like a be right back screen. Maybe that'll be a next thing. Or some kind of like be right back music to play. Saturation. I don't know. This guy is just like fine. It's fine. It's not blowing my mind. It's a cool mask, but it's not speaking to me, this photo. I feel like I'm missing something about it. Do I need to crop it more? Like, but I don't want to crop off its little tassels. That's part of it. I think we're just stuck with it. Let's see if one of these will do something for me. Sometimes you just need a filter to give it life. And sometimes not even a filter will do that. This turquoise red just made it so interesting and different. It's not really true to what it is, though. Black and white. I'm getting nothing. This is where we switch over and we start looking at the ridiculous ones. The uploaded presets. You just hope. That's actually a beautiful black and white option. Cold fact. Montauk Bay? What is that? That's certainly got a vibe, but it doesn't seem honest. I'm really getting nothing from this one. This is not speaking to my soul. Curve? Can we play with the curve options here? Lifting shadows. You know, that's the one that's said the most to me. It's almost like a matte option. Curve, lift shadows versus matte. Is that literally the same thing? Am I just losing my sense of what's cool? Let's see. That is matte versus lifting the shadows. There is a difference, not much of one. I don't know. Black and white with high clarity sounds neat. So you're not a fan of the curve lift shadows. Is this... Okay, I need your feedback. Is this curve lift shadows, which I'm on right now, is that worse than what I just have? Or is it giving it at least some kind of a vibe? Lift shadows. No lift shadows. Give your input in the chat. Lift shadows. no lift shadows. And then you were saying something about black and white with high clarity. Where's our high contrast, I assume you mean? That one looks really cool. It does. But then you miss out on all like the gold and the... Do I just need to... You know what? Maybe I need to desaturate some of the stuff that's distracting from the gold. I can't tell if it's lifting it up or if it's distracting. I feel like it's a distraction. It's only right there and just right over here. Let's just hide that. If we decrease our exposure, not that much, just a smidge. And really what we want to do is desaturate. I feel like that helps to desaturate a little bit. The mask stands out when the display behind it is darker. Yeah. Lifting the shadows is creating a flatter image. Yeah, is that... I guess you're saying that's bad. Is that your opinion? Explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. That would be the ideal way to do this. What if you masked the leaves and didn't desaturate them, but did black and white everything else? Oh my gosh, then we're just getting crazy. You're saying just black and white everything else? How do I even do that? I've done this before. Let's just see what we're doing here. Can I black and white everything? Wait, hold on. Before we do that, let's just make sure I'm done with that first thing I was actually doing. Okay, let's just do a test there. Can I just black and white? I think this is applying it to the whole image, so I can't just apply that mask to everything. But I could desaturate everything, literally, if I wanted to, and then manually high contrast. Yeah, this is why I don't involve the audience in my artistic vision. But I didn't put no backseating on this stream, so it's fine. We're just playing around now. Okay. Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, God. Okay. We're going to just back out of that because I don't know what I did. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to go with my heart and lift the shadows. We're just going to do that. That's what happened. So if you don't like it, find another stream, okay? Or stay with this stream because I'm nice, but maybe I'll do a decision you like next time. I'm just wanting to like contrast a little more. Deep, deep, deep. I just want its eyeballs to be brighter. That's all I want, man. I could do that by just brightening his eyeballs a little bit. Just this one little area. This is what I do with human faces, is you've got to brighten the parts where like their eyebrows or their hats or whatever create shadows. You've just got to like lift it up a tiny bit. Oh, but not that much. Stick around if you wish. Oh man. Okay, we just got to get on to another photo. This is me losing my mind over something I don't care about that much. Okay. What's next? Click. Okay. Oh, we're starting to get into the world. We've moved past like objects in the museum. This is going to be exciting. And I am going to take a quick break, refresh my tepid water, and reheat this other glass of tea that I have that's now super cold. And then I will be back. So enjoy my absence in the meantime. Okay. Burb. Thanks for sitting through that dead air. Or not. My water's been refreshed and I ate some hummus. Okay. So now we're doing something totally different. We have got an atrium. More of that street style vibe. Alright. I mean, we might be able to just find something. This doesn't require a lot of... It's not like a face or anything. I feel like high contrast detail. Thanks! Thanks for sticking around, buddy. Alright. I'm kind of feeling like we might want to just do like one of these filters and then move on to the next one, because filters are really great for this kind of thing. There's nothing specialized. High contrast and vivid. Kind of fun. I just liked the vibe. I had so many pictures of the interior of this place, and I couldn't spend very much time at this museum. It's just, each floor had so much going on. Like, there's a room with like all gold stuff. There's, you know, one of those rooms that we saw with all the different outfits from the different cultural traditions. It was just so much to look at. And I have a pretty like limited tolerance for museums. You know, there has to be like a cafe or something in there that I can refresh my brain. Because I'm always imagining like what I would do with the different objects, or like, I don't know, I'm always thinking about all of these different objects, not, I don't know, from more of, I guess, an artistic perspective, like how would I use this pattern in something that I create, or how would I want to use this? I don't know, I'm not explaining myself very well, but I spend a lot of mental energy looking at these objects, or like, oh, would I want to own this object and have it in my house? Sometimes I have to admit, I find like stores almost as interesting, because they're like just the modern version of museums. It's just a collection of cool looking objects. I am liking this warm contrast. I didn't think I would lean toward warm contrast, but or cool matte. What is it? I can never decide between warm contrast and cool matte. Cool matte looks a little too fake to me though. And then I was like, ooh, this one looks nice, and it's just the original. Maybe we should just play around with this just a teeny bit. Yep. This is why I could never be like well, I probably could be a professional. I would learn my flow a lot better, and I'd probably spend more than like 2 hours a week editing photos in that case. But obviously, your time is important, theoretically. You think the warm contrast makes it look naturally lit? Maybe. Yeah, you're right. It does kind of, it looks like so cozy, like you just want to go there. Yeah, maybe that might be what we end up on. We'll just do a tiny bit, and then we'll throw a filter over it. Clarity, I mean, clarity is good. Dehaze. Dehaze is magic when you're outdoors, especially like when it was smoky in California, or sometimes if there happens to be pollution in Chinese urban areas, for example. Let's bump up our vibrancy just a wee bit, and saturation just a smidge. Go down to our greens. It's just so fun to play with this. I don't think that's like, now if you bring it up there, it's like insanely unnatural, but if you do it just like that, that's pretty okay. Okay. I just want to like pop those greens just like the tiniest bit more. But I'm not sure how to do this without making it look fake. How many stories was it? I think it was just like, let's see, this first floor, second, third. I think it was just 4 levels right there. And then there was a beautiful domed top that I don't think I ended up keeping in any of my filtered photos, but maybe I did. We'll check. Let's hop out to the unflagged photos real quick and see. Oh yeah, I didn't flag this one, but you can see it's really beautiful dome up there. Oh, maybe it was 5. Yeah, it was either 4 or 5. It was many hours worth of time, and I did not look at all of it for sure. But let's go back to our flagged photos. It always goes back to this guy, huh? There we are. All right. Yeah, I think just some turquoise and red makes our greens pop a little more. And I never noticed those nice designs on the floor too. I think there's like a matte version of that too. Maybe it's the red lift matte I'm thinking of. Turquoise and red. Cool. Let's just throw this warm contrast on there and see how I feel when I come back to this later. It almost feels more like a shopping mall to me with this tint. I don't know why, what that says. This is definitely natural lighting that we had in real life. Yeah, the dome was pretty cool. Yeah, it was naturally lit. I might play with the temp just so ever so slightly to bring it a little interesting. You could make it more warm and then it's like, well, that's insane, but like pretty cool there. We can make it slightly cooler. Which I think is, am I just making it confused now? I want to make it slightly cooler. Not that cool though. Let's go there. Contrast. I don't know, what do we got here? The before and after. It's so subtle, the difference, but let's just roll with that. We're just going to roll with that for now. Okay. On to the next thing. Ooh. We interrupt this for me having to draw on a card. Let's see. For my dad, while I'm watching movies, I color. I did this one for my dad because, you know, it was pretty. Playing around with color. I guess it helps with other stuff too. I don't know, maybe we do want to make this warmer. I feel like I got rid of its vibe by bringing the cool down. We'll keep it warm. Okay. Let's look at our next one. Where the heck was this? This was, I think, when I was on my way to finding a restaurant, maybe. And it just seemed so not my image of China, which just is how the world is. You don't know what places are like, and then you go there, and then it just is different. Do I want these stairs in here? I felt like that ceiling was distracting me. Crop slightly. I just find that one little tiny line there at the top distracting. The stairs are cool though. Do we want the stairs to be? No, that's not the focus of the picture at all. It's more this hallway. You'll just see these like very European style buildings, interiors and exteriors, especially in Shanghai. I just feel like it needs to be so much more crisp. The colors are way off. Oh, no, I hate that. We want it way warmer. We want it how it was, more or less. But maybe we can just... I think the filter is going to save us on this one. It's not really calling to me. I'm almost wondering if I should even keep this photo at all. Let's play with our exposure, see if we can rescue this in any capacity. I just feel like it's kind of confusing. Like, what is the focus of this picture actually? What are we trying to talk about here? No, we want that chandelier in there. It's part of our story. But, oof. This just feels so confused. The lighting isn't great. It's not all that crisp. Can we like blur these people a little bit? Just... to make them less of my focus. I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but oh, I don't think there's a lot we can do about them. They're just going to be there. We can declarify them a little. I'm just reaching for things I can control when it feels like I can't control anything here. I wonder if we can like... Notice that's kind of distracting, this little glowing display here. What if we reduced its exposure? Nope. It becomes bright blue. Oh, but we can reduce the exposure and desaturate. Too much. Slightly. I mean, I don't think that's really doing a ton, but... And decrease its contrast so that your eyeball isn't drawn there as much. Get rid of those highlights. Interesting. Just kind of get rid of one little thing that's distracting us. And declarify. Okay, well at least we got rid of that. I feel like the angle is still off. Is that better? Nothing seems straight in this. Oh, horrible. Okay. Let's just see what our filters will do for us, if anything. Natural? Bright? Maybe bright. Maybe we just want it brighter. The final note has been delivered from my brother. Took so long coloring in these leaves. Took like hours. I think I watched 2 movies just to color in some leaves. Kind of insane. Fun though. Better than just sitting there. All right. Okay, what do we got here? I think the brightness was maybe just a good one. We just want like a big bright space. Or matte. Because it's not actually that bright of a space. What if we bumped up the brightness and then went with the bright? Nope, too much. But I did kind of like pumping up that exposure dramatically. Ooh. Now we've got something decent. More decent. We're gonna brighten up here. It's a little dark. Maybe this just wants to be like a really bright space, and we weren't letting it be. Now I'm getting intrigued. I almost want our temperature to be a little warmer. Or should it be cooler? No. Oh, that's affecting just up there. Oof. Okay. We don't want to just affect that area. Okay, whole photo. Contrast? A little bit of contrast boost. Our highlights are intriguing us now. Our shadows will lift. Whites. Pump those up. Yeah, like that. And then even the blacks. Do you brighten the blacks? I never do that. But I almost want to. Oh, I feel like I'm losing my mind though. Let's do some texture. That's going to pump up our blacks probably. And clarity. Dehaze. Now we go over to our filters. What do we got? I feel like I could still do more. Like I haven't pushed it far enough. Oof. Let's go down to our aberrations. And greens, saturation. It's so yellow. We could pump up the yellow a little bit. Or pull down the yellow. I don't think it's enough about lines. We don't want to go black and white situation. Magenta. Pop that flower a little bit. Oh, what if I zoom in more? We've already tried that. It feels weird cropping that chandelier. Magenta. Okay. Let's bump up the luminance of our green maybe. Or, oh, I forgot there's a screen back here. Need to desaturate that because it's distracting from our plant. And the cool thing is we can desaturate just the green. We don't have to desaturate that yellow. You can just pull down the greens there, although we don't want it to look black, just a tiny bit. And we can even change the quality of the green back there. Change its hue to make it a little more yellow so it blends. Oh my god, so much better. So that it blends in a little bit more with our background. Oh, but it was affecting my plant too. No! Why are you affecting my plant? It's just that part. I guess this is affecting everything? Ugh. Horrible. Okay. Well, that means my plant is going to get desaturated too. Okay, I guess we're good with that. Dang. That would have been lovely. I don't know. Maybe there's some high contrast and we're done. Or matte. Makes everything good. Oof. Starting to get some decision fatigue here. Bright. No. No. Wait, maybe high contrast? Not high contrast in detail. Okay, let's compare high contrast. We're going to click on you. Then we're going to click matte. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think I'm going to go matte. God, that turquoise and red though looks so cool. Vintage. What is that doing? It's taking some of the brightness and reducing it. It's flattening. Kind of like that. It's like doing some of that red. Warm contrast. Ooh, that's even better. Not that one. Warm contrast. Vintage instant. Warm contrast. It's doing something kind of cool that I like here. Well, it went from being a picture, I'm looking at our comments here, it went from being a picture that I didn't like at all to something that's now intriguing me. So that is a step in the right direction. I'm wondering about this. I think we're going to go vintage instant. Or I mean warm contrast. We're going to go with that. I don't know, it's just doing something that I like. Now I want to stay at this place. Whereas before it was just so boring. But like we've brightened. And I don't know, we just got some good stuff working here. I'm digging it now. I'm okay with it. Have mixed feelings about the sign that I played around with. Like, should I tint it a little warmer, perhaps, to just sort of blend? I think I should. Or temp it just a little more to the warm side, and maybe it can have some of its saturation back, but not that much saturation. There. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this is more of a thing. That's okay. Next picture. Good job. Okay. Man, this is the same vibe as the previous one. I did so much. Okay, do we start with a crop and maybe a bit of an angle? Copy settings. Ugh, how do I do that? I'm not a genius here. Could I? I'm sure that's a thing. Let's see. Okay. This really did just work some magic on a really otherwise boring photo. Presets. Add new presets. Maybe. Create a preset. Is that just copying this? Okay, we're just going to call this warm interior. I don't know. Looks good with marble or tile. Warm, bright interior. Okay, we're just going to see if that actually did anything. Where would that have gone? User presets right here. Oh, warm, bright interior. Okay. Well, when I hover over it, it doesn't do anything. So either it did absolutely nothing, or it did something. OMG, it did something. right click on the photo you just finished and then copy it from there. I think I managed to do it anyway with my fumbling around. Yeah, fumbling sometimes works, often works for me. Well, often might be a stretch. Okay. I'm not sure that that's quite the right application, but if I click on that, I'm just curious, like, oh my God, bringing that exposure down, it suddenly looked so cool. What the heck? The contrast made almost no difference. Because it's got all of this lighting inside that the other one didn't have. It just gave it so much task. Yeah, failed successfully. This is so interesting. I know, it just changed it in such a good way, didn't it? We've got our highlights that are bumped up. Maybe I should start selling my presets. Just take a preset and then drop down the exposure and see what happens. Yeah, that went from being really boring, like horribly flat. The warmth was really good. That did so much for that photo. That brightness is good. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else we need to do to this, or if my just clicking on the exposure and bringing it down was enough. Our blacks, definitely we wanted that. The blacks to be blacker, that was needed. Whites. I'm just trying to understand what happened, basically. Right now, we're learning together in real time. Do we need anything else to happen here? I'm imagining if I crop the edge a little bit or if I tilt. No, that angle was horrible. Crop. I mean, this really is about this verticality, so I feel like that crop is okay. Do we want to get rid of that brightness right there on the edge? That's a little bit distracting. And just get the very bottom of those little lamp posts. But that's making it so that it's not centered. Let's see. It's the only challenge is this bright spot right over here is just a little distracting, but we're losing some of that. But maybe that was an improvement. We don't have as much of the ceiling happening, but I think I kind of liked that crop actually. It got rid of that distraction for me over there on the left-hand side that kept pulling my eye over there, and I can center us a little bit. We're losing a tiny bit of the scale, which is a bit of a shame. What if I get a little of the lamp post cropped? Do we need those full lamp posts is the question. I kind of liked having the full lamp post in there. His little feetsies, even though they're not identical. No, you can absolutely backseat. I'm not an expert at this, and I have a lot of questions. Clarity is a good idea. I think clarity is going to help this one because the other one was so gauzy and like, you wanted that kind of haziness, but this one you don't, especially because of that graphic in the back. In fact, I'm wondering if we should pop that a little bit. Ooh, man, we're making this kind of like gritty and a little bit gritty with this clarity, but I think I kind of like that a little bit. Let's see what dehaze is not helping either direction. Let's just pop this back a little bit and see what happens. Oh, I'm moving my dot around, huh? Didn't know I could do that. Okay, let's just see what we can do with that, or if that's even necessary. It might be a distraction, that background. Or it might be just the kind of dramatic focus we need. You never know until you play around with it. We're basically just editing this mural on the back here. I think I'm liking bringing a little attention to this. Not like too much, but rather than minimizing it. Saturate or desaturate? Saturate a little is good. I think... Oh, we've got that... Okay, we've got this whole thing with the blue up here. That's interesting. Okay, let's see. What quality do we want for this blue? Saturate? Or do we like it? I don't want it too blue because that kind of messes with the balance of this yellow. Then the yellowness... I kind of love that really, really, like, ridiculously warm interior we've got going. Yeah, that back scene is really helping a bit, I think. Thanks for the input. Keeps me from losing my sense of what is right. Everyone has different artistic visions, but it's nice to bounce ideas. Ooh, gross. Started getting green up in those clouds. That's not good. Just a smidge of blue. And then our green hue. Oh no, we don't want to mess with the green hue because they use some green up in that sky a little bit. That makes stuff look weird. But we could maybe play with the luminance just a tiny bit because we want that to be brighter up there. Yeah, I kind of like that. Pump up that luminance, a little bit of the blue, the bluminance, the aqua, just a little bit. And we can even brighten that green just a smidge. Or not. No. I think this is pretty decent given where we started. Uninteresting. Pretty interesting. It's very similar to the previous photo in a way. Actually, I lied. They're totally different because of pulling down that exposure. This just looks like a flat, bright thing now in comparison to this, which has so much depth and interest. Yeah, you'd visit here. It looks really interesting, doesn't it? But I think it's pretty much just like a facade inside, like, I can't remember if these were like actually restaurants inside each of these things or what. I really don't recall. Pretty sure I was on my way to a restaurant. Yeah, I think maybe the restaurant was in like one of these alcoves or like took up most of the alcove. And given that, oh, next picture is breakfast. So geez, I have no idea where this is. I'll have to look at my data and everything on that. I thought it was going to be from that restaurant. All right, we've got food here. Food. I freaking love food, so there's going to be a lot of these. And now that I'm talking about food, I'm starting to get hungry. I might have to stop my stream for a bit and get some food for myself. This was at the hotel, obviously like some kind of a buffet breakfast situation, and because I am vegan, I just grab whatever I can eat, and it is always weird looking. It's always a weird mix, but like I've stopped pretending. I just grab whatever looks yummy. and that I can have, which means I end up with a lot of beverages as well often. I think I've got some like grapefruit juice, this is probably like a crayon apple situation, some sort of a coffee probably. Ooh, looks like some kind of curry. This, I remember this corn steam bun. We got some steam buns here. Just some standard Chinese potatoes. Not sure what this was. This is pretty common. It's usually garlicky and delicious, and this is some sort of a like flaky bread. But this guy, I remember, had like a custard in it, so I actually couldn't eat it. It's so cute, but you can't tell there's custard from the outside. Oh, you're saying I should acquire vegan cheddar squares? So here's the situation on the vegan cheddar squares. I ate them all yesterday, so I'm gonna need to buy more. I knew I should have ordered more boxes when I ordered these. Um, they're like Cheez-Its, but less sharp because I don't know why, but they just are. But the sad fact is they're all gone now, so yeah, I'll have to come back after I eat some food. I do know that there's hummus out in the kitchen. Someone made hummus. I believe my father-in-law did. So that is an option. And also I have some natto. And natto is pretty good. I might go make some and just bring it back, in which case we might just have some dead air. That's an option. Okay. Food photography, like mediocre, just recording what you ate food photography. Feels like a filter kind of situation. Pop up our exposure, give us a little contrast just so we have a base. Maybe get rid of a little bit of this darkness over here. Tiny bit, just to balance our shadows. Pump up its exposure just the weest of bits. Done. Okay, now we've got a pretty good base. Also, our angle is not... Ooh, wrong. I don't know. I don't know how important angle is on this. I guess it's not. And the important thing is actually the plate of food, so I feel like I gotta crop it down a bit. We don't need to see like those full glasses. We want to keep our focus on the food. That's better. Okay, now we can work with filter. High contrast and detail. I feel like we can just kind of go... Oh, I didn't want that one. We can just kind of go fun with the food. Turquoise and red. Ooh, vintage instant. That one's kind of fun. Flat and green is also fun. Oh, no. Vintage instant. Flat and green. Ooh, warm shadows. I'm really digging the warm shadows today. I don't know what it is. It just feels right. You use a lot of clarity for food photos. I feel like, yes. But also, this is not, it wasn't good lighting. It was just like hotel lighting. Obviously, I took this with either like a cell phone or probably just a point and shoot. So we don't have a very strong base to work with. So I'm not sure. Let's, ooh, can we zoom in more? It's not letting me zoom in very much. I don't know like what we have to work with here. If I pump up the clarity, let's just see. Texture. I think it depends on the food too, doesn't it? But this one's got nice texture in that bread. Like there's something to stare at. So yeah, your point is well made. Let's pump up some of our base here. The clarity really is doing a lot for it. Like that steam bun I just want to dive into. Also, this placemat is like really exciting. I know that's not our focus here, but do I need to crop even more? Like, am I missing a trick here? Oh, we're not centered at all though, so it feels really awkward. We're gonna expand a little bit so that we can be off kilter, I think. Okay, I need to be a little bit zoomed out for this one for my own personal well-being, but I'm missing my coffee stuff. Is that okay? I think that's okay. That's not our focus. We can tell how many beverages are there, and there's some curry. But maybe if we just shift up a tiny bit. Too much. Yeah. Okay, we're getting closer here. I don't know, maybe I'm just going right back to how it was. We want the food centered. My eyeballs are drawn to this food. Okay. Now we can start. See, I just was going to put a filter and now I'm playing with it again. This is why. But it wants to. You've got to play with your food. Okay. Oh, you do want a little extra exposure there. Why not? Contrast? A little contrast on our foods. Yes. No highlights required. Shadows. This is such a silly photo to be playing this much with. Tiny bit of black. No, we think we've pumped up the texture as much as we can there and the clarity. Let's see. There are no meatballs in this photo. Just potatoes. Saturation. Ugh. Editing this food photo is making me so hungry. Okay. Filter time. If we need a filter at all, actually. Guess we could. What was I looking at that was interesting to me? That crop just changed everything, though, for me. Cool light. Looks cool. Not a good choice for this photo, but it was fun. I just feel like that crop changed everything for me. I don't like any of those anymore. Do I need to change a lens correction or move? Oh, see? There, it's detecting. This was my phone. Let's see. You liked the vintage instant? This one? Let's see. But then we lose all the detail in our corn. Is that okay? All that color. Ooh, dog's barking. We're gonna mute that. Or warm shadows. I know, but now that I've focused on the food more, I feel like I'm missing out on all my greens. I'm liking those greens. Let's go to the crazy colors. Let's do those. What if we make it a warm, bright interior? Horrible choice. Vignetting. Ooh. Do a little drama for this. Where are my uploaded presets? That's what we want. And I had one photo that was just so insane. Oh, cold fact. I kind of like. It was like just a blue interior with glass and like rocks and stuff, and I ended up using like the third dimension or black mamba or something on it. Cold fact just keeps talking to me here. Cold fact, huh? The warm, bright interior with a vignette. Yeah, that's not going to happen. We'll try that on another one. Skyfall? No, I just love the name of that though. Mensch Machine or Cold Fact. They're very similar to one another. Cold Fact. Print that in your memory. Nothing. Still kind of good. Mensch Machine. Wait, did that do anything? That literally seems like it did nothing. Oh, no, it did. Our greens got brown. Darker. Oh, I'm not liking that one. Cold Fact? You know, man, do I just like it how it is? Is that what just happened? Did I just like what I did best? Maybe. I think we're going to have to come back and revisit this another time with fresh eyeballs. But I think we're okay with what it is right now. Certainly suspect it was an improvement. Oh, we're going to click done there. Oh, yeah, before and after, night and day. Much, much better. Okay. Okay, our next stop is a garden in Shanghai. But before we embark on that garden, I think I have to take a break and eat food. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream, and then I might come back a little bit later, and after I'm fed, then I can continue either editing or perhaps I'll be playing a goose game. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Just depends on the way the winds are blowing. But I do think that this was a cool garden, and I'm through 17 photos after like 2 hours, so that is progress. All right, getting my food. Maybe I'll learn how to actually do this Lightroom screen so that it's sharing correctly as well. I'll Google that. Little research. Okay. Goodbye, people. Once I figure out how to get to that. I think it's down here. All right. Ciao, friends.